Good morning, I'm Lisa with Peche Media. Each week I'm going to bring a story on one of the artists and musicians that are here living in Peche. We're so fortunate to be amongst so many wonderful musicians and artists. And with this ongoing pandemic, why not learn how we can help support them by tuning into maybe some music or tuning into their art. So stay tuned. Hello, I'm Lisa with Peche Media, and today I'm with Mathew Falvai, and we're talking about the impacts that COVID has had with his career, being a musician. So thank you, Mathew, for taking the time with us.
Thank you.
And so tell me a little bit, how's the past year been going for you?
When it first happened, it was pretty scrambly because there wasn't a lot of information from the government, and you're wondering, what are we going to do? How are we going to pay the bills and all of that? But I was pretty impressed with how fast they rolled out benefits and things like that for different artists, and just gave you a bit of a game plan. My partner runs an art studio, and the majority of her income is from summer camps, so that was a big transition for her. And for me, because most of the time I play music live, but I also work online with video games, I was able to transition everything. I already had the equipment and the know-how to just, instead of doing video games online, or alongside of that, playing music online and using Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. And with everybody stuck at home, everybody was looking for something to do, and it felt like everybody was back on Facebook and watching the news and staying connected. So it was nice, because in those first couple of weeks where it felt like everything in your house could kill you, and everybody was stuck at home and scared of this new reality, that was really, really nice to be able to get together and find some comfort with each other. And then now, as it's gone on for over a year, it's just become a part of the routine and a part of something that I'll keep moving forward with once I can return back to the normal way of playing music.
And so what is your new normal? Where can I find you?
I'm on Spotify and a bit on SoundCloud, but right now we're doing live shows Friday and Sunday. It's on YouTube under Mathew Falvai, Twitch, Mathew Falvai, Facebook, Falvai Music, DLive, which is a different streaming platform for people on the blockchain. I don't quite understand it. And yeah, those are the main places. I'm also doing a couple shows for You Bloom. I don't know when this is going to air, but that's going to be April 22nd, 23rd, 24th at various times, whether you're in England or Calgary Mountain Time or our Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be a half-an-hour set of originals with 2 other acts.
So when life goes back to you performing live shows, is there anything you're going to keep from what you've learned in COVID?
Yeah, I'll definitely keep I'll keep some regularity of the live shows, because here I can play around Gatineau and Ottawa and, within the normal radius I would go to, but I'm able to play for people that are in South America, and have European people that watch, and my family and friends back home and around the world, people that I would never be able to access. And it's just a great way to market, and even live streaming local events that I might do, or live events, because you're trying to get out there, and if you can't tour to these different places, it's a different kind of interaction. It's a bit more casual and there's a bit more back and forth. And obviously that's the way I've been doing it anyway. I like to have it's like you're in a lounge for 3 hours, and not necessarily like a set 1-hour show with, big start and a big finish. It's more of a exploring, and I can explore different sounds and explore different songs that I wouldn't play because I have original music. But to fill these big 3-hour blocks, I love to do covers and give almost any song somebody asks me a try. And you end up with sometimes bad experiments and sometimes really good ones.
And what do you miss the most about being probably a live audience? I'm going to assume a live audience is probably what you miss the most, but what are you missing the most throughout this pandemic?
Definitely reading a crowd, because if I start a show and it's for people I don't know, it'll be, I pick a song and I watch their reaction, and I see, are they the type that kind of wants to groove? Do they want to party? Do they want to chill out? Do they like jazz? what are they into? And when you finish a song, or even while you're playing it, are people looking at their phones? Are people engaged? And you get energy from them. And a performance, the best thing about a performance is that it's completely unique to the artist and the audience in that moment. And the audience will create that moment with the performer. And it'll never be the same again. Then when you're playing online, sometimes you can approach that. People type messages, I have it come up on the screen, I'm constantly reading it, and people have been really great about trying to show their appreciation in whatever way they can, whether it's with like a GIF or just typing or clapping. I can sometimes get to that point where you get that, the sort of like the shivers down the back of your neck, that kind of feeling and that connection. But for the most part, when you play to a camera alone in a room, you are often left a bit empty at the end of the song. And that's been the hardest thing to get used to, and definitely the thing I miss most. And then also, of course, playing with other humans. And because I'm lucky that I've always tried to branch out and play guitar and bass and piano and drums, and I like to loop so I can entertain myself and keep it interesting. But you'll never get that spontaneity of playing with somebody and creating something like with an audience that is unique. That when I play with a certain bassist or a drummer, I can take songs that I write that they're okay, it's a framework, and you play with a certain drummer and it feels like it goes somewhere you never would have taken it on your own. So that's definitely just humans being around and being a part of the equation.
Yeah. Any advice to the upcoming artists that may have been cut off from their first tours, or they feel the isolation is greater than what they're able to cope with?
Well, I mean, sadness always makes for great songs, so try to put it into a song, obviously, but there's a lot of ways to reach out, and there's been a whole industry of musicians on YouTube that have been doing all this stuff way before COVID. And there's a lot of ways you can still interact with people. You can record tracks perfectly and send them to people around the world, and you can collaborate on songs together and split screen videos, and you can get really creative. And I guess people are probably tired of being introspective after a year of this. I mean, I honestly thought this would start and go for 2 weeks. And my girlfriend, my partner Stella, she predicted a lot longer, and I thought she was crazy. There's no way this is going to last a year. But she was right. Like she often likes to remind me that she is. But I would say for musicians, just try to pour it all into your craft, and yeah, like whether that's recording stuff your own, recording with other people, making videos, work on your website, work on your branding, get into logos, and learn how to use Paint Shop.
How are you able to make an income by streaming? Do people
tip?
Okay.
So people will tip, and see with Twitch, people can tip, and you can have a graphic show up on the screen, or people can purchase points where they can have a message on the screen and a computer voice will read it out, or they can subscribe to you, and it's something like $5 a month. YouTube does this as well. They're called like super chats. You pay $1, $2 or whatever and get messages read out. Just another way of kind of like deepening the interaction, I guess. I have some people that just will send me a weekly amount, and others that do it right in the moment. And yeah, people have been really generous, and it's been something I'll definitely keep in the repertoire moving forward. I'm streaming Friday and Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for a few hours on YouTube and Twitch. And if this does go up before April 22nd, be the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, playing a 30-minute set with 2 other great acts, Daltic and Dreams. They're a duo out of UK, and that's going to be with U Bloom. So just search U Bloom, Mathew Falvai, and I'll be playing there.
Well, thanks for your time. It's been very pleasant to listen to how you've been adapting to this great pandemic, as I was in the same situation. I thought it was going to be, a month maybe, but then here we are a year later.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you for having me.